Do you feel like you are doing all the right things? Taking your daily walks, stretching in the morning, maybe even doing a little light housework, yet still finding it harder to get out of a chair, climb the stairs, or carry groceries without feeling drained? You are not imagining it, and you're definitely not alone. Here's the quiet mistake that almost no one warns you about. Most seniors focus on movement, but not muscle. Walking is great for circulation, stretching is helpful for flexibility, but they don't stop muscle loss. And if you are over 60, you are losing strength every single year. Unless you are doing something very specific to fight back. This silent weakness doesn't hit you all at once. It shows up quietly. You'll find yourself holding onto the handrail when you never used to, or feeling nervous, getting up off the floor. Then one day, your body just doesn't bounce back like it used to. That's why strength, not just movement, is the real key to aging well. If you are serious about staying strong into your 90s, hit like and subscribe right now. Because in the next few minutes, you are going to learn 3 safe, powerful movements that most seniors have never tried. But they might just be the most important ones you ever do. Hester never considered herself inactive. At 68, she still kept busy, walking around the house, tending to her garden, mending old clothes for her grandkids, and dancing a little to her favorite jazz records every Sunday morning. She lived alone in a small home in Beaufort, South Carolina, where the porch stayed tidy and the backyard was always blooming. In her mind, she was doing fine, aging gracefully, staying on her feet. But then something changed. One afternoon, Hester reached down to lift her old sewing machine, something she'd done hundreds of times before, and it didn't budge, not easily. Anyway, her arms trembled, her back locked up. She froze for a second, stunned not by pain, but by weakness. That moment haunted her more than any ache ever could. A few days later, she tried to carry a bag of soil from her car to the garden bed. She made it 5 steps, her knees buckled and she had to lower it awkwardly onto the driveway. Out of breath, cheeks red with frustration, that's when the truth hit her. "I thought walking around the house was enough," she admitted, "but it clearly wasn't. My strength had been slipping away, and I didn't even notice." It wasn't a dramatic fall or injury that made her stop and rethink. It was the slow, quiet loss of confidence in her own body. That's what scared her most. The little things she used to do without thinking were starting to feel like chores. Lifting groceries, watering the hanging plants, even pushing open heavy doors at the post office. But Hester wasn't ready to give up her independence. Not yet. She didn't want to join a gym. She didn't want to take risky pills or do routines designed for 25-year-olds. She needed something simple, gentle, something that respected her age, but didn't treat her like she was fragile. That's when she discovered 3 unusual exercises that didn't involve any jumping, squatting, or lying on the floor. No pain, no fancy equipment, just tiny, powerful movements that woke up her muscles and gave her strength back. Quietly, safely, right from home. And what happened next? Well, Hester says it best. "I didn't realize how much I was holding back until I stopped letting weakness win." In just a few weeks, she felt different, more capable, more grounded, and with each little improvement, her confidence returned faster than she ever expected. Stick around, because in the next few minutes, you'll learn the exact 3 moves Hester used, and why they work when others don't. There is something most people don't tell you about getting older. Strength isn't the only thing that fades. After 60, your body begins to lose something just as important, but far more subtle. It's called neuromuscular control. Your ability to react quickly, stay stable, and coordinate movement. And when that starts to slip, everything changes. You might notice it in small ways first. Reaching for something and missing. Standing up too fast and needing to steady yourself. Feeling unsure walking on uneven ground or into a crowded room. That's not just normal aging. It's your muscles and brain struggling to work together the way they used to. And here is what's truly surprising. According to recent findings from the CDC, it's not just about how big or strong your muscles are. It's how quickly they can activate. In other words, muscle power, not size, is now seen as one of the most important predictors of fall risk after 60. That includes how fast you can catch yourself, shift your weight, or rise from a chair when needed. And yet, the average senior workout plan, it doesn't touch this. Walking, yoga, stretching, they help, but they don't train your reflexes or muscular control. That's why some seniors who walk daily still find themselves tripping, hesitating, or feeling unstable. They're moving, but they're not rebuilding their connection to power. And if that sounds familiar, you are not alone. Let me ask you something personal. Have your movements become slower? Do you feel shakier, even though you stay active? Because that's exactly what happened to Hester. She wasn't out of shape. She was disconnected from the fast twitch strength she once relied on without thinking. And the truth is, your independence doesn't vanish in one big moment. It slowly erodes with every step that feels less certain, every chair that's harder to rise from, every bag that feels heavier than it should. But here is the good news. Your body still remembers how to be strong. You just have to give it the right signals. The 3 exercises we're about to show you are designed specifically to rebuild what age tries to take away. Not just strength, but responsiveness, stability, and real-world confidence. You are not fragile, you are not too late, and you are definitely not powerless. Let's get into the first move that started rebuilding all of that. For Hester, and for many others just like her. Exercise number 1. The seated ankle press. This first movement might look simple, but don't let that fool you. It quietly wakes up some of the most overlooked muscles in your body. Here is how to do it. Sit tall on a firm chair with your feet flat on the ground. Now, press both feet downward into the floor, as if you were about to stand up, but don't actually lift your body, just press and hold. You should feel the muscles in your thighs, calves, and even your lower core switch on like a light. Hold that pressure for 10 full seconds, then relax. That's 1 round. Repeat this 5 to 10 times. And you've just activated a chain of strength from your feet all the way up to your hips, without even standing. This is called the seated ankle press, and it's one of the safest, most joint-friendly ways to re-engage your legs, especially if you've been feeling unsteady, or avoiding stairs, or if standing for long periods wears you out. Here is why it works so well. Most leg exercises focus on movement, squats, lunges, walking, but this one targets static power, the kind of strength you use when rising from a toilet, holding yourself steady when a bus starts moving, or bracing when you step off a curb. It also works a deep group of stabilizing muscles that walking alone simply doesn't reach. This kind of strength protects your joints, improves circulation, and retrains your nervous system to respond faster when you need it most. And what's truly powerful, you can do it anywhere. While watching television, waiting for your coffee to brew, or even during a phone call. Hester started doing the seated ankle press every morning while waiting for her kettle to boil. No sweat, no equipment, just mindful tension. 2 weeks later, she noticed something odd, but wonderful. She stepped off her porch and realized she wasn't gripping the rail. Her knees felt more stable. Her legs had a subtle bounce again. I didn't feel like I had to think so hard about every step, she told us. It just felt natural again. So here is your moment to try it. Sit down, plant your feet, press down like you're about to rise. But stay seated. Hold for 10. Feel that fire in your thighs, calves, and maybe even your glutes. That's your strength waking up. Try this right now while watching. Can you feel those muscles firing up in your legs and core? Comment below if you felt it. And if you didn't, try again tomorrow. The reconnection builds fast, but it starts with just 1 press. Now, let's move to the second move that helped Hester rebuild power in a place most seniors forget entirely: her core. Exercise number 2, the table pull core wake. Most people think of the core as just your abs, sit-ups, crunches, maybe a plank or 2, if you're feeling ambitious. But here is the truth. Your real core is everything between your shoulders and your hips. It's the deep set of muscles that stabilize your spine, keep you upright, and power almost every movement you make. And after 60, if you don't train it properly, it doesn't just get weaker, it forgets how to fire at all. That's where this move comes in. It's called the table pull, and it doesn't involve twisting, bending, or lying down. It's perfect if you have back issues or if you are tired of workouts that feel more painful than helpful. Here is how it works. Stand or sit in front of a sturdy table or countertop. Something that won't tip. Slide your hands underneath the edge, like you are trying to lift it. But don't actually lift. Instead, pull upward gently, creating tension in your arms, shoulders, and core. Your elbows should stay close to your sides, and your belly will naturally pull in as the core activates. Hold that isometric tension for about 10 seconds. Then release. Repeat it 5-8 times, resting in between. That's all it takes. What makes the table pull special is that it trains core engagement without movement. That means here is no strain on your joints, no crunching your spine, and no need to get on the floor. Just safe, simple activation, and a reminder to your body, hey, I still need these muscles. Hester started doing this exercise every morning before breakfast. She'd place both hands under her kitchen table, take a deep breath, and pull upward gently. No sweat, no noise, just a quiet moment to reconnect with her body. And within days, she noticed something unexpected. I felt taller, she said. Her posture changed, her shoulders sat back naturally, and she started walking with more confidence, without even trying. It wasn't about building six-pack abs, it was about reclaiming control from the inside out. And maybe that's the most important part. Because when your core is strong, you don't just look better, you move better, you breathe easier, you sit and stand without grunting or grabbing the edge of a chair, you even feel steadier getting dressed in the morning. So go ahead, give it a try right now. Sit or stand beside a table, slide your hands under the edge, now gently pull upward, feel that subtle tightening in your arms, that lift in your belly, that support in your lower back, that's your core waking up again. Let us know in the comments. Did you feel that engagement? Was it easier than you expected? Next, we'll move on to a move that seems almost too small to matter, until you realize how much of your strength lives right in your hands. Exercise number 3. The wrist to elbow squeeze. Sometimes, the smallest exercises unlock the biggest wins. The wrist to elbow squeeze is one of those movements that looks almost silly, until you feel what it does. And even more so, until you start noticing what it allows you to do in daily life. Here is how to do it. Sit comfortably, shoulders relaxed, feet on the ground. Take your right hand and place it firmly on your left forearm, right in that soft area between the wrist and the elbow. Now gently squeeze with your hand, while resisting just slightly with the forearm. You are not wrestling. You are waking up muscle fibers that help you grip, stabilize, and support your entire upper body. Hold this for 5 seconds. Then relax, switch sides. Do 3-5 rounds on each arm. What this simple move does is train reciprocal tension, the ability to control and activate 2 muscle groups at once. It doesn't just strengthen the arm, it enhances coordination between brain and body, which becomes more essential with every year after 60. Now here is the part most people don't realize. Grip strength is now considered one of the top indicators of longevity. Recent studies in aging adults, including large-scale reviews in the US, have found that people with stronger grip strength tend to live longer, think more clearly, and recover faster from illness. It's not about bodybuilding, it's about retaining functional independence. And yet, so many people ignore it, until their hands start failing them. Jars won't open, grocery bags slip. Even brushing your hair can feel tiring. That was exactly where Hester found herself. She had always been proud of her hands. Nimble, steady, used to working a sewing needle for hours. But over time, they'd grown weaker without her noticing. One day, she stood in her kitchen, staring at a pickle jar, and after several tries, she gave up. That moment stuck with her. So when she started doing the wrist to elbow squeeze every morning while watching the news, she wasn't expecting much. But after a week, her hands felt fuller, steadier. One morning, she grabbed that same jar and twisted. Pop! She said it was one of the most satisfying sounds she'd heard all year. I laughed out loud in the kitchen, she told us. It was tiny, but powerful. I actually felt capable again. Try this now while you're watching. Press your hand into your opposite forearm. Feel that tension build between the two. That's your grip coming back to life. It may not look dramatic, but if you've ever struggled with buttons, bag handles, or holding a cup of tea without trembling. You'll understand just how life-changing that small strength can be. You'd be surprised how much power is hiding in your forearms, until you wake it up like this. Now let's take a moment to look at how these 3 small moves added up to one huge transformation in Hester's life, and how they can do the same for you. Hester never imagined that 5 quiet minutes in the morning could reshape her life. No gym, no fitness app, no pressure, just 3 simple movements she did in her kitchen, or by the table, while the kettle boiled, while the morning sun warmed the floor. And yet, little by little, those 5 minutes started adding up to something powerful. At first, it was just a feeling, a little more spring in her step, a little less hesitation when stepping off the porch. She noticed her hands didn't ache as much after sewing, her back didn't feel as stiff bending over the sink. She even caught herself walking taller, without realizing it. Then came the real changes. She carried a full laundry basket from the bedroom to the washer. Without stopping halfway to catch her breath, she knelt to trim her garden beds, and stood up without grabbing the side rail. She started walking to the post office again, not because she had to, but because she could. And the biggest surprise, she started something she hadn't done in years, inviting people into her world again. Hester started a weekend craft club at her church, open to anyone over 60 who wanted to sew, knit, or just sit and share stories. She laughed more, her days felt fuller, she felt real again. I didn't realize how small I had started living, she said quietly. One day, until I started getting strong again. It wasn't about looking younger. It wasn't about chasing some fitness goal. It was about getting back to the version of herself that didn't second-guess every move. The version that trusted her own body. And now the question is, what about you? What would strength give you back? Would it mean playing with your grandkids without fearing a fall? Would it mean reaching the top shelf again? Would it mean finally saying yes to that trip, that walk, that moment? Because strength isn't just muscle, it's confidence, it's freedom, it's dignity. Knowing you can take care of yourself, on your terms. And you don't need to change your life to get there. Just 5 minutes. 3 smart, gentle moves. And a decision that today is the day you stop shrinking and start rebuilding. Hester made that choice quietly, on an ordinary Tuesday morning. Maybe today is your moment. Let's wrap up with a powerful takeaway, and what this means for the decade ahead. You don't need fancy equipment. You don't need a trainer shouting at you. And no, you don't need to train like an athlete to stay strong after 60. But what you do need is something far more powerful. The quiet, consistent message you send your body every single day. A message that says, I still need you. I still want to bend, lift, reach, walk, and live with confidence. Because here is the truth. Your muscles don't stop working because of age. They stop working because no one calls on them anymore. But once you wake them up, once you show them they still have a job to do, they respond faster than you might expect. That's exactly what these 3 movements do. They're not about sweating. They're not about pain. They're about signaling to your body. It's time to rebuild, safely, gently, in just minutes a day. And if you start today, even just a few rounds of the ankle press, the table pull, or the wrist squeeze, imagine how different your body could feel in a week. A little steadier, a little taller, maybe even a little proud. Now stretch that thought to a month from now. Climbing stairs with less effort, getting out of a chair without pushing with your hands, opening jars, walking with purpose, feeling grounded in your own skin again. Not because you train like a pro, but because you took small, smart steps consistently. And that's the part most people miss. Your future strength doesn't come from big efforts. It comes from small signals repeated with intention. So here is your challenge, and your invitation. Don't wait for your body to fail to start fighting back. Start now, even if you just try one move, even if you do it seated. Every signal counts. If this video helped you, even in a small way, tap the like button. Share it with a friend, a spouse, a neighbor who needs that nudge. Because staying strong isn't just a personal win. It lifts everyone around you. And most importantly, subscribe to Better Aging Advice. This is your space, your reminder that aging can still mean rising, reclaiming, becoming. Because the truth is, your strongest years aren't behind you. They're just waiting for you to begin, one smart move at a time.